Okay, we're going to talk to you today about your informative speeches. And before we start, I want to draw your attention to something I sent you a message on over the weekend. And that is, if you'll look in Blackboard, I've updated the course calendar and the syllabus. Now, let me review fairly quickly what those changes are so that you know. We had a situation where technically you could not have uplinked your persuasive speech. I didn't discover that, and that's not a local problem, that's a state problem. But the persuasive speech was due to be to me by tonight at 11:59. I'm extending that deadline. It's now due April 6th, so it'll be a week from today, April 6th, and that's the deadline for that, 11:59 p.m., April 6th. Now, in the process of doing that one, then, we're backing that up against the special occasion speech. So I've also moved that date. You now have the special occasion speech, which was to have been due on April 6th, will now be due on April 20th. April 20th. That's a long gap in there, but, give you a little bit of a break to get those in. Now, let me talk about something else. And all of this, by the way, is in the course calendar and the syllabus in Blackboard. So take a look at that if you have any questions. You may, by the way, still have to go to the original session to insert the video. So if the session originally was session 11, that may be where you have to go to insert the speech. And if you originally on the persuasive speech, I'm pretty sure this is true, was session 11, you have to go to session 11, even though technically it shows that it's now due in session 12. All right. Also, the public speaker critique was due on March the 23rd. And let me take a quick look here and see how many of you got that in. So far, I haven't got anything on that. If you sent it, I will be looking for it, but none of that has been graded yet. So you have the special occasion speech, you have the persuasive speech. All of those things are ready for you to get that extended deadline. All right, a couple of other points. Some of you are pushing this. Do not come anywhere close to a topic you've already used. If you have talked in anything dealing with healthcare, no more speeches even closely or more distantly related to healthcare can you do next time. All right? Some of you are using the same theme in all of your speeches. No, stop that. That is not allowed. Switch around, get different topics, different themes, and make sure you're not using kind of a one-man band theme to everything you're doing. And I'm going to repeat again, we've talked about this several times, and I don't know why this is still a problem. Many of you are ignoring what we have said in these, and you send me a note that says you've watched these from beginning to end. Well, if you have, you're not getting anything out of it. Speeches, outlines, must be labeled. It doesn't mean you label it in the email message to me. On the outline, it says speaking outline or preparation outline. It says it on the outline itself, not just in the email header. All right? Crucial. You're not doing that. You're going to hear several of these as we talk. All right, let's start with faith. Faith on your informative speech. First of all, nice appearance. You have nice appearance. That helps. You got to understand, folks, when you give a speech, you don't dress like you're going to some backyard barbecue someplace and sweatshirts and baseball caps and things like that. You should dress up for a speech. It's an occasion. You're trying to impress people. Part of the way you impress people is you dress for it. If you're a guy, you shave. You don't necessarily have to put on a coat and tie. That would certainly possibly give you some extra points because people start judging you from the moment they start to look at you, and a lot of the way they receive what you say is based on how you appear. So work on appearance. And so In the case of Faith, nice appearance. Don't use a sour face. You have a tendency to have kind of a real stern look. Don't do that. And you did not mention one of the things that I talk about in my face-to-face classes, and that is symbolic communication. You have verbal, nonverbal, and you have all kinds of other things, but symbolic communication would include American Sign Language and some of the hand gestures that we flash at other people when we get angry at them when they cut us off at an intersection. That would be an example of symbolic communication. Label your outlines, speaking outline, preparation outline. Also, you are reading far too much. A speech is, well, the special occasion speech is one that you can actually read. That's the only one. You're supposed to talk to me. You're not supposed to have your head down like this reading all of the time. I'm doing it because I have to read the comments that you say, but notice how much I'm actually talking to you in addition to the reading. You're down here like this all the time. All right, cite your sources early in your speech. Don't wait till the end. Don't say, and that stuff I've been talking about is from this source. Cite your source as you give a fact. Every time you give a fact. You had a very abrupt ending. You need to talk to us. You have poor eye contact because you're reading too much. And I will say that your outlines really look good. Also, you had a problem with your process speech, so I'm going to give you a critique on that one now. You drop your voice at the end of sentences like that. You drop your voice at the end of sentences. So don't do that. Talk, energy all the way through. You start out reading and you continue for some time without looking up. There we go again. You've got that reading problem without looking at us. You need to ramp up your energy. Get a little energy in what you're talking about. And part of it is that you're reading kind of like a how-to book with no reference to how you, no references are cited in what you're doing. So it sounds like you're reading to us from a how-to book on how to do something, and you're not crediting where that came from. This is a process speech that didn't motivate. You need to motivate people to do things in a process speech, and your outlines were not properly labeled. Okay, we're back to the informative speeches. This is Cowgirl. Cowgirl, stop talking about the topic you continually use. Stop immediately. Do not use that topic anymore or anything closely or distantly related to it. Don't start talking until you've quit moving. Some people come moving in, and today I want to talk to you about. No, don't start. Come in, get position, look down, find out what you're going to say, look at the camera, and go. All right? Add some energy to your speech. And then watch your grammar. You had something in there about it is then rang up. And then you have no visuals and no sources cited in your speech. And also, grammar-wise, you said most oftenly found. Most oftenly found. All right, next up is Haley. Haley, a lot of things. You went very long on your speech. Your outlines were not labeled. You need to stand still when you talk. You have the wrong camera shot. You're shooting up. Your outlines, the speaking outline, the preparation outline are not labeled. I don't know what you intend to be what. You've got to tell me that. I'm having exceptional problems understanding you. You run your words and your phrases together, making it extremely hard to understand what you're saying. Now, if you have a language problem, you need to make each word distinct and on its own. And if you talk fast and run the words together, it makes it almost impossible for someone to understand what you're saying. You had on your visual too many pictures that you were holding up at the same time that can't be seen or read. And folks, when you have visuals in your speeches, you've been instructed to send me copies of the visuals so that I have something that I can look at and reference. And also when you do that, reference in your speech, and you do this for your audience. In this picture you can see So there's a sense of you've changed the picture. You give me a PowerPoint with 6 or 7 slides in it, and when you do that, you don't reference when you've changed the picture, then I can't tell where you are. Also, it's good for your audience to know if they haven't been paying any attention to the screen. Okay, look at the screen again because I've changed the picture. All right, next is Lana. And Lana, your video is backwards. I don't know how you did it. It's like you shooting into a mirror. Appearance counts. Remember that. Never appear in a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. You're shooting up into your face. It's soft focus. Slow down. You're going too fast. You had several awkward pauses. And you had tell you where it comes from. In that area where you were talking about, I'm going to tell you where it comes from. You had several awkward pauses around in there. You're getting lost in your own speech. You had a lot of words, but it wasn't conversational. You had a horrible ending with no conviction whatsoever about what you were talking about. You're trying to sell us on something, and in the process, you just, okay, walk away. Why are you doing this? Wrap it up. Convince us. Contrary to instructions, your outlines were posted in Connect. Folks, you do that, I will not look at it, and I will grade you down for not having submitted your outlines. All paper work for this class, that includes outlines, must be sent to me from your Ivy Tech email address to my Ivy Tech email address. Said it several times. It's all over. It's in the syllabus, everything else. Do not post anything anywhere. Send it to me. If you have any questions about that, call me in the office. Your outlines are not labeled. The type font changes in your outlines. I've not seen that before. And there are several technical problems with your video. All right, next up is Apollo. You need to smooth out the flow. And what is your credibility for this speech? Establish your credibility. You had a nice approach. Your reference, you need to reference your PowerPoint as you speak so we know what you want us to pay particular attention to. Cite your sources for the facts you give. Don't rely on a bibliography at the end, or don't say what I've been saying is from, that kind of thing. Cite them as you give them. For instance, you said 80% of your blood is water, and okay, says who? Where's that come from? Unless you're a medical doctor or a scientist in some way, you've got no authority to be saying that. Finish strong. You had a good speech. Finish strong. You had a nice conversational style. Keep that up. That's really good. You died on your ending, so make sure you end strong. But, all that said, you had a very good overall speech. Nice job. Next up is Pirates. You ran a bit long. You had very good visuals. You were shooting up, and you're a little too tight on your shot. Loosen up a little bit. Remember, this shot, bust to the top of your head, that kind of thing. All right. Where did your PowerPoint come from? Did you make it? It kind of looks like something you may have gotten off the internet. You do that, then it's plagiarism if you don't acknowledge that. And so you want to make really, really sure that you take something from someplace, you acknowledge it. Source, source, source. I can't stress that enough. Stand still, you're rocking back and forth. And then you said there is ways to prevent. I think you meant there are ways to prevent. Reference your visuals, each one in your speech. It's important to your speech. Reference it. This was a good job. It was well presented. You are saying stenosis, not stenosis. All right, so kind of look that up. Your outlines are not labeled, but this was a good speech. Next and finally, we have Morel, M-O-R-E-L. This was way too long. You only had one outline or one bibliography cited. You have you came off as totally disinterested in trying to connect with your audience in this speech. Your outlines were not labeled. There were no visuals. You edited the audience intro. Never turn off the camera. You edited your video. You did that too. You have the wrong shot. Don't rock back and forth when you speak. You're dancing around your upper body as you speak. You had a disturbing background noise going on, and at times you mix up your words like you have been distracted. You are reading too much, and at times you're squinting to see what you're reading. So it's like it's over there somewhere and you're kind of looking to see what it is. Slow down. Remember, as I've said multiple times, appearance counts. Go back and look at how you appeared in this speech. You ran far too long, and you are fighting in this speech the background noise, and I noted in this that at this point in the speech you're losing that battle. All right. You've heard everything I've said. Do not do any topic anywhere closely or distantly related to anything you've already done. The persuasive speech is not due until next Sunday night. Make sure that you send me a message that you have watched this video from start to finish. Make sure you do that. Keep up with all of the assignments. Some of you have not turned in some of the speech assignments, and most of you have that are watching. Some of the class members who are not showing up anymore haven't. If you don't turn in all the speech assignments, you fail this class. Okay, it's pretty easy. Stay up with everything. Make sure that you're doing the discussion boards. In looking at the discussion boards, some people are doing pretty good. A couple of people are losing points here and there because you're not following all of the directions. So if you have any questions at all, call me in the office. I'd be happy to talk to you. I don't teach English. I don't teach writing. I teach speaking, and that's why I'd rather talk to you than have to write long messages back and forth. If you have any questions, call me. That's the best way to do things. And until next time, that's it, and we'll be talking to you. Have a great one.